The President of America often abuses his presidential power. Presidents have taken action without having Congress's approval. The presidential abuse of power happened in 1952 with President Truman. Then also happened years later with John F. Kennedy and Nixon. The abuse of power is happening with more recent presidents such as George Bush and Barack Obama. Truman attempted to keep steel workers working for very low wages. Truman had the power to claim the private companies were owned by the government, just hours before they wanted to go on strike. Since Truman nationalized the steel companies, the workers could not go on strike. After Truman, the president's power increased significantly. The fact that Truman was able to use his power in order to take all the steel companies for even a short time proved that it was highly possible for a president to abuse his power.
On June 17, 1972, members of Nixon's administration were caught breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. To gain a leg up in the re-election campaign, members of Nixon's administration broke into the building and set up wiretaps of their opponent. Money was paid to Nixon's men that took the fall for the Watergate scandal. Nixon dug into his election campaign fund in order to come up with hush money for these guys. Unfortunately, Nixon's hush money plan fell through. He was caught and was ordered to hand over the tapes from the wiretaps, and he eventually resigned his presidency.
John F. Kennedy in the Cuban Missile Crisis. While Kennedy was in office, he was faced with a decision that could destroy a whole country by saying go. The Cuban Missile Crisis came about when an American U-2 spy plane spotted missiles being built in the Soviet region. After seeing this, JFK decided to put up a blockade to let the Soviets know he wasn't backing down. Eventually, both leaders decided to call it off because they both did not want total destruction of their nations. This shows that as a president you have a lot of power, even enough to destroy someone else's country.